You're watching Betting the Breeders' Cup presented by FanDuel. Our hope you get a little bit of insight to make some money this weekend. The final Breeders' Cup race on Future Stars Friday is the Prevagen Juvenile Turf. Taking a look at the morning line odds presented by FanDuel, and River Tiber, your 3-1 favorite for a duo that have teamed up to win this race 5 times. That's a record. Aiden O'Brien, Ryan Moore. I'm Brittany Yurton. He's Nick Lux, so I'm going to lean on you. Ryan appears to have had his choice of mount here between Unquestionable and River Tiber. Do we read into that?
I don't think it was a very difficult choice. Okay. He had to ride River Tiber, really. He's run really good races in Grade 1s the last twice. He is crying out for the extra couple of furlongs as we take a look at him in winning action here in the Coventry Stakes at Royal Ascot. And what you see here is a horse that is all about toughness and tenacity and precocity. And as I said, give him an extra couple of furlongs. His pedigree suggests he wants it. And I say to you that 3-1 is a perfectly fair price. Aiden O'Brien has won this race 5 times before. None of his previous winners were as credentialed as this one coming into it. So he'll do for me.
So that price will likely be shorter come post time.
I think it should be.
Should be. Okay, handicappers, what do you say about River Tiber and this field in its entirety?
Well, you know what, Maddie? Listening to Nick, he talked about River Tiber, and I'd be interested at the end, Nick, maybe you can answer the lack of going 2 turns. Like, is that a concern for you? Come this weekend. I when watching all of the North American horses in the video and watching the replays, you talk about a horse in Tok that showed compete, want to, had a lot of adversity, and never wavered and always kept trying. The 3 horse will be on all my tickets. I'm going to use on top. I'm going to use second. I'm going to use third. And if I decide I play some superfectas, we'll be 4th as well. I was thoroughly impressed, even though the horse got beat. Got beat 2 lengths at Keeneland in the Bourbon.
You and I have similar horses where I'm not vehemently against the O'Brien runners. They're probably going to win, honestly. The Europeans win this race more often than not. Air Recruit, to me, is the kind of horse that, on the basis of his last run at Laurel Park, 9 horses have come back out of that race. They've all equaled or bettered their Beyer speed figure, which is basically just a representation of how fast they ran on any given day. Air Recruit beat them by 6. It was a really, really impressive effort. I think this horse is talented. Maybe he's not good enough to win, but to your point, with Tok, you're using him everywhere. I'm using this horse everywhere along with the Euros.
Nick, you want to answer that question with the 2 going 2 turns for the first time?
I don't think it'll be an issue. Okay. We've seen horses come here before. There aren't many races round bends for 2-year-olds in Europe, in all honesty. We have straight 6, 7, even mile races, particularly at the Curragh and Newmarket. This horse hasn't had an opportunity to go round a bend meaningfully before. He's well balanced, he's tough. I don't see that as an issue. And the extra distance, as I said, Edzo, I think will help him.
How about, Nick, follow up real quick. What about style-wise for the 2?
He's tactical enough to sit as handy as Ryan Moore wants him, but I don't think he needs to be on the front end if they get going too fast. I think he can just sit perfectly. He's drawn great in post position 2. I see him getting a perfect catbird trip, sort of on the rail in about 4th.
And so I just want to know if Tok wins, or are we going to see him on TikTok?
You might see me on it, but I won't be doing anything. I ain't doing any of the rubber band or whatever that dance is.
Sending it back to you guys, though.
Same thing.
The last thing on River Tiber, just remember, over the summer, and Nick knows this, he was kind of the bee's knees for O'Brien and company. He was sort of their leading light as a 2-year-old. And he had a couple of poor performances. I don't think we should just totally write him off as a horse that was really good early and he hasn't trained on. I expect a good effort.
No, I would agree, Matt. And those 2 performances weren't poor. They maybe just didn't progress as people expected.
Lots of insight, a lot of directions to go. Well, where should you go to make your wagers? The FanDuel Sportsbook app, the only sportsbook app where you can bet the Breeders' Cup. And right now, new customers get a no-sweat win bet up to $200. That's right. So download the FanDuel app, and why don't you bet the Breeders' Cup today?